Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, of course. So you said you just came back from the gym. What did you
Yes.
train today?
I trained biceps and triceps.
Okay, you said you did arms today.
Yeah.
I saw the just recently. I guess they did you train with? Let me see. I think I'm trying to remember who is it. Christina Nicole? Did you train with her by any chance?
Yes, I did. I went to that actually Las Vegas. Yeah, we meet up once in a while.
Okay, okay, yeah. So I looked at like the short video on Instagram you did. It looked intense. You guys had a good workout?
Yeah, we did the legs. Yes,
Yeah.
she puts me to the shoulders workouts. I put her to the legs. She's a champ with the shoulders.
So you trade off like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yes.
normally I usually kind of start off with one of the first things that I usually ask people is, how they got into like working out and training, competing. Is that something that you've always been interested in, or did something happen to make you, interested in bodybuilding?
I've been always working out, but never kind of like bodybuilding.
Hmm.
And in the 2010, I had a mild stroke. I lost my hearing, my right
Oh my
side.
goodness.
And I was in a hospital for 6 months. I couldn't move my body.
Mm.
So it took me 2.5 years to recover. I wasn't recovered right away. So I start pushing every day, start going to the gym every day. I start physical therapy. And 2.5 years later, I'm like, I want to step on a bodybuilding show. This was my goal. So
Hmm.
when I was in the hospital, I said that one day I'm going to step on a stage. I'm going to compete one day. And all my friends was laughing at me. They're like, yeah, right. You're going to be handicapped rest of your life. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to show you I can do it. And
That
I did it.
That's incredible. Just to take a step back, you had a stroke. Did they know why you had a stroke? Did you?
So we got married in 2008 and we tried to in vitro
Mm,
and we did in vitro so close to each other that the doctor's like, it's a dangerous, but we can just keep you to the hospital. So that's what they did. And in 2 days they discharged me later and I got home and I went outside. I was living in Arizona and I just started losing. Like I couldn't focus, I couldn't remember anything.
hmm.
And I sent my husband to give me beer. I don't drink. Like I want a Bud Light. That's what he
Uh-huh.
said. He went to the store. When he came back, I was out.
So do you remember asking him for a beer, or
No, I don't. I don't
was that
remember it.
just okay?
Yeah, he told me. He told me like when I woke up in a hospital, he was like, "It's like you drink the whole. You were asking for the beer." I'm like, "What? I
Yeah,
don't even drink beer."
that must have started like it was started messing with your mind, and then
So,
and
yeah, I couldn't remember anything. So it's like I'm like, is that if I'm tired or what is it? And
yeah.
also, like, I couldn't remember anything. I'm like, and I even drove home from the. I work in a hospital. I'm a registered nurse.
Mm.
So I work in a hospital, and I drove the home, and I don't remember how I even drove home.
Yeah, that's so scary. And I just a little bit tangent. My wife is a nurse too, and I'm in nursing school myself. So,
Okay.
so yeah, so we have some similarity there. But that's yeah, that's so scary. So you have the stroke, and you said what kind of consequences did it have? Like what did you lose?
I lost my like strength on my right side, and I can't hear nothing my right side. My ear, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, it's gone.
Wow. So that means that the stroke was probably on the left side, and then
Left
because
side,
your
yes.
right side was affected, that
Yeah.
oh my goodness, that's so scary. And how do you like you said that you wanted to, compete, you wanted to step on stage and you were confident that you were going to do that even though other people doubted you. Did was there did you know were you confident right after the stroke, or was there like a time period of depression, and
I
can you
didn't
talk
have
about
a,
that?
So I haven't had a depression. So it's
Mhm.
like I was just like telling myself. So I came, I came to United States as a refugee camp from refugee camp,
From where, if you don't mind me asking?
Yugoslavia. So
Okay.
I was in a refugee camp for 8 years, and I
Mm,
felt that I like that make me strong. And when I older happened with a stroke, like I'm like, this is gonna put me down. I have to do it. I was telling
mhm.
myself every day, I have to do it. I cannot let myself go down.
Yeah. That's the, that's tends to be the mentality from, I'm from Ukraine myself. And so like that I feel like that's our mentality from Eastern Europe, that we don't quit.
No, you just like go after for it. It's like I'm like, if I survive the war, I'm
Hmm.
like, I can survive anything. And
Yeah.
I did, but I have to tell myself every day I have to do it and I have to do it.
How long did it take you to go from, stroke to let's say not competing, from stroke to just being able to use your body effectively?
Uh, Took me a year, 1 year and 4 months and 19 days.
Mm. And so did you immediately start seeing improvements, or like how long before you realized, okay, well, I'm getting improvement, it's working, I'm getting something back now?
So I've been in the hospital. First, they kept me in the hospital for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how we sometimes pity ourselves? My mother calls me and she said, "Where are you?" And I said, "Oh, I'm still in the hospital."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Nobody loves me." And she said, "You're still in the hospital. You cannot still walk." I said, "No." And she's like, "You need to get up and you need to check yourself out and you need to go home and do your own thing."
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
when she told me, so it's like me and my husband just got married, and she told me a tough love, right? She
Mm-hmm.
said, "Do you think your husband's gonna be with a handicapped woman the rest of your life?"
Yeah,
You
man.
know what? It did hit me hard. I,
Mm-hmm.
I did not spoke to a whole year with her. I was so angry,
Mm-hmm.
but it was actually if she didn't do it, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, it's like that, right? Sometimes the things that you hear, it might not be the nicest things, and it might not, and I'm not saying she was right, but it did have an effect on you,
Yeah.
that now you're in so much of a better place, because of that.
Yes, definitely she pushed me to the fire. I'm like, I have to do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. Yeah.
So when you said you wanted to step on stage, so at some point during this situation, you said you wanted to step on stage and compete. Was it something that you like have already been looking at? Were you involved in bodybuilding, or what made you decide to
Yes.
do that?
So, I grew up with the eight brothers, and I loved always Arnold Schwarzenegger. I always used to tell my mom, one day I'm gonna be the Arnold, one day, and she said, "Honey, he's a man and you're a woman. You're not gonna be like that." And I used to steal her broom and
Mm,
take the wood, and I used to do like pretend I'm doing a
mm,
push presses and the deadlifts, and she always laughed at me. But all my brothers work out,
mhm,
so then and I worked out all the time, but I always wanted to do this competition.
mhm.
And I'm like, I was so little, I was 81 pounds. I'm like, no way, it's impossible. I'm like, those girls, they look big.
Yeah, yeah.
And I did it after that. So like I start training every day. So that
Mhm,
to recovery, I did a treadmill every day with I had a walker.
mhm,
Then 6 months later, I was going to the doctor office every 2 weeks, and they did a blood work. He always told me, he's like, don't overdo it. I'm
mhm,
not telling you cannot do it, but don't overdo it. Don't hurt yourself.
mhm,
So I continue going, but he never told me I'm doing great. He
mhm,
never told me that. And
mhm,
he's like, just keep up going, doing whatever you're doing. And a year later, and I go back to see him, and I walk in the office, and I'm like, this is the wrong place, because there was cameras everywhere.
mhm,
And I'm like, and my friend, she's like, no, 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 just get in. And so they interviewed me. They said they never happened he's been a doctor for 39 years. He's like, this is never happened. I never see that somebody went actually crazy and just to do a recover. Not
Hmm.
even listening to doctors, not getting a physical therapy. You did it on your own.
Yeah, that's amazing. I see, I'm sure you see this as a nurse, but I see it in my clinicals as I'm going through nursing school, and so many people, have something happen to them, and they just, I don't know if give up is the right word, but they don't push themselves, they just kind of just go along with everything,
Yeah,
and they don't really get much better,
you just
at all.
stay in place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what do you attribute your success to? Just the fact that you were driven to get better?
Yes, I feel like I think this is what I feel. The bodybuilding actually saved my life. I don't know what I would be now. So it happened in 2020. It's all that happened. So I had a heart surgery as well.
Mm. So you went through a lot.
In 2020, I got really sick. My dad passed away from the pancreas cancer. They giving him like he never been sick. It
Yeah.
happened in the hospital, and they said he had 30 days. And on I was in a gym, and I'm like, I just started passing out. I couldn't breathe. I'm eating and I'm losing my breath. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what's going on? And I'm like, sometimes you like, okay, I'm not working hard. My cardio is terrible. Or I'm like, oh, I'm getting just old.
Yeah, yeah.
And my husband is like, are you eating enough? I'm like, yeah, I am eating. And we got home, and I just got really sick, and I could not remember anything. And he said, I thought you were dead. You turned all pale and just passed out.
Wow.
And the next day, the doctors did all testing and everything. And next day, I had a heart surgery. So they found, I'm sure, okay, you're from Europe as well. You
Hmm.
know that hole in your heart,
Yes.
like closes say usually when you are 3 to 6 months.
Yes. And in America, they do a lot of times they'll do surgeries for that, like when you're really young. I don't know if they did that in Europe.
Europe, no. So
Yeah.
mine never closed.
Mm. And
Mine
so
never.
because of that, you had those issues.
Yes, they said that the doctor said it's possible I had a mild stroke from that too.
But yeah, yeah, I could see that happening. Yeah, that definitely could have been the case.
Yeah, and all that stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, I went through a lot. And here in the St. David's Hospital, it's like I had a surgery. You have to stay 6 hours in the bed, not moving. I guess I just get up on my bed and went to the room. And
Mm.
they came and they wanted to do some testing on me, do the what is it called? Uh, my cardiologist always teases me. He's like, "Are you a human being? We need to do some testing on you to see what's going on." And I'm like, "No, oh, trial." He wanted to do the trial on me.
Mm. Hmm.
I'm like, "No
Yeah.
trials on me. Sorry."
Yeah, yeah. No, you can try on somebody else. Like,
Yeah, I'm like,
that's so all these things that happen to you, and you decide you're going to be a competitive bodybuilder athlete. You push through, you you get there. When was your first show? Like, when did you do your first show?
my first show was 2012.
2012. And so, and what, like, can you kind of tell me, like, how are you feeling? Like, you nervous? Like,
I was really nervous. So just before that, the 3 months before, I had a foot surgery. I play soccer, and I had they removed that's they call the bunion,
yeah.
and it was so big when I hit it like I hit the actually moved the whole my big toe, and they did a surgery. That was my third time surgery, and that time the doctor is like, he's like,
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you stop, you're not gonna stop. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put a pin on your foot. That way you're not actually able to play ever again. On a day of the surgery, on a stage of the pin was my body was rejecting the pin. It
Oh,
was
no.
pushing through my heel, the over it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe just, and I was picking it. I said, maybe just something like, scar tissue.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was a pen. It was a metal was coming out.
Wow.
And I did it terrible. I did a first time bikini. Back then, like you didn't really have a good coaches. They didn't really
Mm-hmm.
do much. I stepped on the stage. I was 76 pounds.
Wow. That is
Yeah,
that's so
you know what?
little.
At that time, I thought, I'm like, oh my God, I look amazing. Why didn't I place? But I was just like a skeleton, okay?
Yeah. And you said this was bikini you did?
Yeah, I started with the bikini.
Mhm.
Then in 2016, they moved me to figure. They said I was too muscular.
So you were 70 something pounds when you were in bikini. When you moved to figure, how heavy were you?
I was 129.
120. So still light, still not too heavy. Yes.
They said I was too conditioned, I was too muscular. So you can stay in bikini, but you cannot come to that muscular like that. I'm like,
Mhm.
I'd rather be conditioned than actually you tell me I need to lose weight.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
So, and I
Yeah,
did a lot of bikinis actually. I did about 42 bikinis.
really.
Yeah, so far was my in Olympia. I did it. That was my 101 shows.
Wow. So you
Yeah, I went after it. I went after it. People's like, you do one time show once a year. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go because that was keeping me focused, keeping me to stay healthy.
it's funny because so when you mentioned you did 100 and something shows, I was listening to a podcast with Milos, and they always make kind of like not make fun of him but joke about the fact that when he competed he did so many shows, like he did nonstop shows. It makes me think of you like doing all these shows.
Yeah, all my family and friends are like, when you have a time for anything else, and I'm like, no, I'm like, it's another show. It's really close. I'm gonna just do the back to back. And
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, it's 6 weeks to another show. It's
Hmm.
so close. Why not?
Yeah, yeah.
And
So when you do that, were you focusing on improving? Because I know a lot of times the most of the
yeah.
improvement comes in the off season. So
So, believe it or not, I never been in my life in the off season. I never believed it.
really, that's interesting. I think a lot of people would like you would disagree with that, you know?
Yes, they would disagree. Yes, I disagree right now too. So before I'm like, the judge is like, yeah, you need to prove your legs, you need to prove your glutes, your upper body, and they're like, you need to be off season. I'm like, what's off season? And then I'm like, no way, I'm not gonna gain big weight like that, and then shredding down. But it's too, you're gonna know that your wife is a registered nurse. It's
Mhm.
hard on your organs, hard on your
Yes.
liver, your
Yes.
kidneys. And I'm like, I'm not putting so much weight like doing that.
Yeah. I will tell you this. I think an off season is good, but I don't agree with people gaining so much weight. I don't think you need to gain that much weight. I don't see the purpose of it because
I
most of that weight is body fat. That doesn't help you in anything, you know. So,
see competitors in my gym. So they did just a show 2 weeks ago. They look like 30 pounds heavier already.
mhm,
Like
yeah.
this is crazy.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
like,
if you're a professional athlete or if you're any athlete, you should look like an athlete all year round. I understand. Yeah, I understand. Sometimes you might be a little heavier, like a few pounds. Sometimes a little light. You're not going to look exactly the same on stage or off stage, but you know, so there was one girl I saw. I'm not gonna name her name, but she, like you said, that like she competed, looked amazing, and then literally within a few weeks, I thought I didn't even recognize that was the same person, and I'm like, that's not good. That your heart, your everything,
everything, yeah.
kidneys, yeah,
Mm.
terrible. Terrible. So yeah, I'm a big proponent. Like when I coach people or talk to them, give advice, whatever. I always say, you want to do an off season, that's great. Don't don't gain a bunch of body fat. Don't go crazy. Don't eat junk. Don't do those things because it's not going to help you. You're not going to get better. So
And I see lots of coaches they push in there, and I'm like, why? So in 2018, I went to actually get my nutrition license. I wanted
okay.
to learn my body because I could not believe you hired the one coach, and they said, well, you need to eat about the 4,800 calories a day. I'm like, even on the days I said for the woman,
Mm,
yeah, because you're gonna. No, I don't want that.
yeah.
So it's like literally I was forced to go to school to learn about it because I could not trust anybody. I could not believe anybody anymore.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like
The coach, sometimes coaches just do, how can I put this? They do things to please, like to make the person feel good about themselves. And sometimes, like, especially with men, when they'll have them eat more, they'll get heavier, and then they'll think, oh well, I'm getting better because I'm getting heavier. Now I was 230, now I'm 250, but you've gained a bunch of body fat. So like you're heavier, but that doesn't that your physique hasn't gotten better.
nothing is same. Probably look worse.
Yeah, yeah. So and they don't see that until they lose the body fat. They look either the same or worse, like you said. So, yeah, I think you have to be really careful as a competitor what coaches you choose for yourself. That's extremely important.
100%. I went through the four coaches, and I'm like, you know what? I will never hire a coach again.
So do you train yourself, coach yourself?
Yeah, I do actually. I'm coach as well. I bring the
Hmm.
clients to the stages, and I
Yeah.
have a lot of clients. They are natural.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. That's that. How is that? How, like, do you coach them any differently, the people that aren't natural, or is it the
No,
same?
no,
Mhm.
I don't. So I believe like I most of my clients, I'm like, I believe let's try to do like a just natural way. So they
Mhm.
come, they're like, yeah, I don't want to do enhance, I don't want to do this, I want to stay natural athlete.
Mhm.
So they pretty much if you do that, they do the more cardio, yes, and the
Mhm.
more eating and more better food, then
Mhm.
they don't have a cheat meals. If
Mhm.
it's a 12 weeks, my clients they don't have a cheat meals, which and they come like that, like, yeah, this athlete actually I see them eating the nachos and they said it's a cheat meal, and I'm like, well, they're enhancing
Yeah.
something, and
Yeah.
it's a differences,
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you're natural and someone
but
and
you
you're
have
not,
to work hard.
yeah, if you're not taking any kind of fat burners or anything like that, and then the other person is, yeah, he can have nachos or she can have nachos, and there's a
Not
difference.
it's a big differences, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny, you have like two viewpoints, right? Sometimes you have people say, well, because you're not natural, you don't work as hard. And I don't agree with that. But then there's also the other side of that where, you know, if you're not natural, like there you don't have some of the advantages either. So it's like it's somewhere in between.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So you go to figure. How long did you stay in figure?
I stayed in the figure for 2 years,
2 years. So not too long. And then what after that?
and I went to wellness.
And so 2 years right after figure you went to wellness. So was that when wellness first started here in the US around that 2019?
No, so I went to wellness actually in the 2021.
Okay. Okay.
I got my card in a 20 in a figure in a Pittsburgh, and then they said they get my feedback. They're like, "Yeah, you need to grow your back bigger."
Hmm.
And I'm like, "I want to still stay in the little dresses. I don't want to always." Every time when I see that bigger girls like the dresses, they don't really look dress anymore. And I'm
Right,
like, I
right.
always speak out about that. And I'm like, I can't. I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna just move to that different division. And they're like, my husband's like, yeah, they have a wellness. Why don't you do that?
How,
And I
how,
tried.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Mhm.
And I tried it, and I actually get my pro card in wellness in my first show
Wow. So what show was that? Where was that?
in Pittsburgh, North America.
Pittsburgh. Okay, so you just went. were you already, did you prep, did you have full prep for that wellness show?
Yes, I did that. I did it.
Mhm.
So this is funny. So then I'm like, I had that time coach, and I'm like, can we just do the two categories same time? Can we do the figure and wellness? He's like, well, let's check it out. So I
Mhm.
did it. One first day I did a figure,
Mhm.
and it was so lean. And I
Mhm.
remember asking him, I said, hey, do I need to go fill? Because it's a wellness looks different.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, they don't want to shred it. They don't. He's like, no, 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 don't worry about it. I'm like, I looked at my husband. I said, let's go get a hamburger and a
Yeah.
sweet potato.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I did it, and I still today I did never told them. So I went eat, and at the nighttime again ordered the steak and a sweet potato. And in the morning when he saw me, he said, "I told you you don't eat the cheat meals."
That's what I was just about to ask you. Does he still think that like he did a great job with not telling you to cheat?
Yes, yes. He's like, I told you you're gonna look great. You don't need the feel. I'm like, uh-uh.
Yeah.
And with my pro card, and he's like, yeah, you see, you want a pro card. But I could not break his heart. I couldn't
Yeah,
do it.
yeah, yeah. I understand. I understand. Yeah, it's yeah, I mean, well, it sounds like you already intuitively know, what to do.
I'm
It's
not
probably,
doing it.
yeah, probably what makes you like a good coach as well for other people too.
Yes, yes. And I'm like, I have to do this. I have to take it in my hands. And I'm like, I don't like the failures. Okay. I'm like, I know I failed so many times in the shows that plays this and this. And I'm like, this is so unfair, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Do you
Well,
think do you think that you didn't do as well in figure because you're naturally, your body just wasn't built for figure?
yeah, I feel like I did not being built enough. I was
Hmm.
too small. I was only 129 pounds.
Hmm. And
And
but
all,
I guess what you're saying is you could have built the bigger back, you just didn't want to build the bigger back.
yes, yes. I was just so afraid of the back getting so massive. I'm like, no, I can't do that.
So when you won your pro card in wellness, were your legs and all that, were you already training them to be bigger, or was,
Yes.
you were okay. So
Yes.
you're
I always used to call my glutes a pancake. I'm like, I don't have a glutes. I don't have nothing. I'm like, I worked my legs 3 days a week.
hmm
And
yeah,
I'm
it's
like, I have to build the glutes. I have to build the legs. That was always my focusing on it.
yeah. So you go pro, and so in 21, and now then
And I
what?
still do there all the time. And I did it shows after shows. I travel everywhere.
Hmm.
And I'm like, one day I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna do the shows anymore. I was so sad. I was so mad. They placed some other people better, and they looked actually terrible. They had a cellulite. They had a loose skin. They had a
Hmm.
old. I'm like, what is this? And I started not to believe in anymore. And I come home, and like next day I said, no, I have to do this again.
Hmm.
And a week later I went to do another show again. And people's like look at me, they're like, you are crazy. And I said, no, I'm not gonna stop till I stop to the Olympia stage.
And so,
And
yeah, go ahead.
I did it. I went to the Olympia stage. I went to the Master Olympia in Romania in 20 August 26th.
Yeah, so this recent one, yeah, that's exciting to be able to do that. I mean, which did you win a show to get there?
No, so you get those points,
Oh, and so there was a point
and then
system. Hmm.
then you have to apply for it.
I see. Okay. Okay.
I apply for it, and I get accepted.
That's yeah, that's amazing. I was talking to a girl, bikini girl, who on the show, um Janine, she went there as well and competed in bikini, and she loved it. She said it was such a good experience. Did you have a good time there as well?
We had an amazing time. It was beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. How
and
was the
Romania. beautiful city.
Yeah. How was the show itself? Was it well run? Everything was good?
It was, yes, it was really well run. Yes. Mhm.
Okay. And so well, now you know, just recently you go to Masters Olympia. What are your plans at this point?
So I did another show 2 weeks later in McAllen, Texas.
Okay.
So I had a client competing in McAllen, Texas. When I got there, they had a contract for me. They have my number. They have everything ready. They're like, "You're not competing?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "Yes, you are. We have everything ready for you."
So
And
you so you weren't planning on competing at all, and they just
no,
showed up. Wow.
I just have to support my client, and they're like, "No, you're doing a show." And I looked at promoter, and I'm like, "I'm not ready." And she looked at me. She said, "What are you talking about? You're looking better than some athlete's gonna step on a stage." And she's like, "Sign here." And I did, and I did. And actually, I looked better on that stage than on Olympia. I looked more. I do like after my shows, I do 4 weeks reverse diets. I believe
Okay.
in that,
Yeah.
introducing the slowly back to your body.
Yeah, yeah. I know a few people that do that, and that they say they really like that a lot better than just, some people just kind of flood their body with everything right after the show. And that's when you get all that water retention and everything like that.
Yeah. So
And
I never
so,
had anything like that.
yeah, that's great. And I get your point where you're talking about that sometimes after the show you end up looking better than during the show. It happens like that sometimes. Yeah.
Yes. And after Olympia, I was really sad and like really disappointed. I didn't place well. I placed 15th,
Hmm.
and I thought I should have been top five, but
Yeah.
we never
Yeah.
could do anything. This sports we love and we chose to do.
Yeah, it's a subjective sport, so it's a lot of times different people see different things. And so there's been so many times where I would look at a show and I'll see somebody win or somebody else come in fifth or sixth or seventh, and I like the person that came in fifth or sixth or seventh better. I'm like, why did they not place better? But it's a subjective sport. It's hard to know. So I'll tell you right now, I'm looking at your pictures and stuff. I mean, you seem very competitive with all the elite level competitors. So I don't see what they're talking about. But um, are you still planning to do any more shows this next? Are you doing any more this year, or are you going to go wait for next year?
So no, I'm like, so people's asking me. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
This point, I'm gonna continue train. I'm gonna continue try grow my glutes.
Hmm.
May possible next year, possible.
Yeah. I think you probably will compete again, because I don't think that you're just from our conversation and from the things that I see, I think it was a mistake for them to do that and to say that to you. And knowing you and everything you overcame to get there, I think you'll compete again. Maybe you need just a break to get your
Yeah,
mind right.
lots of girls have a fake glutes, fake
Mm-hmm.
abs,
Mm-hmm.
and the girl who plays fifth, she standing next to me. You can see her injections and an implant on her
Mm-hmm.
glutes, and I'm like,
Yeah, they need to stop that, because and that's the problem with wellness. Is That's the only issue with wellness, is because the the division is made to be like not balanced, right? So your upper body is going to be smaller than your lower body. it, a lot of times girls feel like they have to do that to be better. And I think I don't see anyone running into that with any other female divisions, only wellness. And it's a real big problem, because I've seen it in the Olympia stage. I don't know if people talk about it. I'm sure you've heard, but there's some high level competitors that it's very obvious that that's happening.
yeah, same thing. I'm sure that when I'm talking about Sunny, you
Hmm.
know,
That's one. Yeah.
it's like, yeah, she did something wrong, but they immediately put her all in the back, you
Hmm.
know, the last.
Yeah.
That's what you should do with every single athlete. So everybody,
Absolutely.
I said to the one judge, and I said, why don't you do this? Why don't you say pick up the best surgeons in America and say which one is best going to create the best butt on a stage? I said, if it's a cosmetic, then it's a cosmetic. But it's come on, it's a bodybuilding, you know.
Right, right. And it's, it's, in the men's divisions, as far as I've seen, they will diminish your placing if they see like injection sites or something, something not look right. And because, you know, they don't want to reward that. And I think they should do the same thing with wellness.
Absolutely. I agree there with 100% with it.
Yeah, yeah, that's unfortunate, but I think you will make it to the Olympia. I think it's also a matter of just picking the right shows too. When you're in the pros, it's different than when you're in amateurs. In amateurs you just go and you compete, but with the pros you have to really be strategic, surgical. What shows you do. So I think you'll definitely get there for sure. So, what what do you think about the wellness division overall in the pros? Do you think like Fran and Issa are good representations of the sport?
Francielle.
Mm-hmm.
I think Francielle she's my favorite girl.
Mm-hmm.
I think her presentation is like her walks are to me like a goddess. When I
Mm-hmm.
see her walks, and I'm like, oh my God, she's beautiful, and it moves, and it's everything. It's so feminine. It's like a Barbie on a stage, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody wants to see that.
Yeah.
I wish I wish we can stay with that kind of category, like her looks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think they're trying to. They're definitely trying to. I know one of the man. I think the Mannion
Tyler,
Tyler, yeah, he did like a video where he was talking about that.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So I think they're trying to do that. They're trying to let people know that that's the look that they're
They look
going for. So
like every show when the Tyler judging, and it goes right.
yeah. And see that the problem is that he can't be everywhere. And so, but you have to, I wonder what they can do. Maybe they need more training for the judges. I don't
I,
know.
yeah, I really think they should switch the judges from
Hmm.
a different cities as well, because sometimes favorites playing favor minds as
Hmm.
well.
Sure, sure.
I'm like, if you are judging and your client is on a stage, you shouldn't be judging the show. I'm sorry.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's conflict of interest. You're obviously going to pick your client. That's not,
Of
that's
course,
not, yeah.
and I'm like, they should be really training. They should train them, like retrain them again. Like, it's like same the posing clinics where we do.
Mhm.
They should do that for the judges as well. It's like practice. Teach them how to pick the right winner, not just because you like their face, just
Mhm.
because they deserve that. The body,
Right.
what they do for it. You
Right.
know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the face, I know it's like hard because it's a subjective sport, but I don't think the face should come into play at all
Or
because
your
it's,
hair.
yeah, or your hair because I mean I think you should be professional. You should get your hair done. You should put on whatever makeup you want to put on, but I don't think they should go into as far as judging because the sport is judged on your physique, not what I mean. Whatever God gave you for a face is what you have. You can't change that.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
cannot change. We cannot change that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So absolutely, I agree, and I also like the fact that he said, I've had this conversation with a few wellness competitors that you have girls that are just putting on crazy amounts of muscle on their legs, but they're not. They think that that's what they need to do for wellness, but it almost looks like bodybuilder legs on like you know.
Yeah. Some of them, they're like, you standing next to them, you're like, oh my God, you should be a bodybuilder.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
and
it's a difference. It's big differences when 130 pounds a girl standing next to the 175. Of
sure.
course, you'll be bigger than you. Those legs, those glutes, everything is bigger.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And I think that's another issue that like and it's again they seem to be rewarding the right people at the highest levels, but I really would like to see the right people get rewarded at the shows that are not the Olympia and the Arnold too, you know? And so
Absolutely.
because I know they're going to get it right in the Olympia. I know they're going to get it right in the Arnold. Those are big shows, but what about the
Yes.
rest of them, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's wellness is a very exciting division. It's new. There's a lot of interest in it, you know. I think it's probably the most popular division we have right now. So,
And everybody wants to do that division, you
yeah.
know. And then I heard lots of coaches, they're like, if they continue doing this, we're not going to bring our athletes there.
But athletes where?
To the being a wellness. They said
Oh,
they're going to stop just bringing the girls to the shows because they don't even look at them.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's really sad. There's judging is so important, and it's like you have to be able to trust that you're going to get an honest look, because if you don't trust that you're going to get an honest look, the desire to compete is not there anymore, because why would you go through that, you know? So yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. So right now you're technically in your, I don't want to say off season, but you're technically improving, you know?
Yes, yes, definitely. I'm approving it. Yes, I'm still doing a 3 days work on my legs. I'm lifting heavy.
Hmm, hmm.
Yeah, hopefully I might. I promised myself I might by December, by Christmas. I'm like, that's gonna be my gift to myself. I have to build bigger legs.
So you said you lift heavy. Do you lift a lot of volume as well, or low
Uh,
volume?
so I do that now. I do that low volume kind of for like I do 12, 10, 8, 6, and my weight is going up and up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Got it, got it. So, and how is your eating? Like, what do you do for
Right
nutrition?
now, yeah, right now I'm on 3,200 calories.
Okay, okay. So that's a good, decent amount, enough to grow, but not too much.
Yes, and I do the cardio 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes every day.
Every day. Yeah. That's, I mean, you've got a good regimen. I think you'll do great. You know, it's just if we can get these judges to actually, look at you,
Actually, look at me, yes.
yeah,
Like, just give me just the 5 seconds. Just look at me those 5 seconds. That's what I'm only asking you.
yeah, yeah. Do you train by yourself, or you train with a partner?
I train actually with my friends. I have four friends.
Hmm.
Actually, the one girl and four guys.
Okay.
So me and this girl, like, she's really strong too. So she's like, she works in my own gym. It's like
Hmm.
House of Games,
Okay.
and we meet up 4 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, that's super early.
I get up every morning 3:15.
When do you go to bed?
I go to bed like around like 9, 10.
That's still that. I mean, I guess that's enough. But yeah, do you fall asleep immediately, or it takes you a while?
It takes me kind of a while. I have to watch the what's it, Larry Diaz. How you say it?
How did that, was that a show or something? Or
It's a show.
oh,
It's a
oh, oh, Curb Your Enthusiasm? Is that what
yes.
it?
I love Larry. He puts me to sleep.
That's hilarious. That's so funny that you like. They say that you're not supposed to like look at electronics and stuff before you go to bed, but to me, sometimes I fall asleep better if I have something like playing.
Me too. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you have to see Larry.
Oh, that's too funny. So
Yeah,
you wake up at 3:15. You go train at 4. Are these girls and guys, are they competitors as well, or they're just the gym?
they
They
are.
are.
So me and the girl meet up in the morning. We do the leg workouts.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then we do 45 minutes stairmaster, two of us, and
Hmm.
then I work the guys come in afternoon, so I meet the guys if upper body.
So how many training sessions a day do you have?
I do the two
Two?
times.
You two a
So
day?
I work at the at actually at the gym as well. I'm all the time there.
I gotcha. So you basically live there.
Yeah, I told my husband, I'm like, I'm gonna ask the owner to build me a little room there because I'm always all the time
Yeah.
there.
Might as
So I
well.
have
Save
Yeah,
yourself a drive.
yeah, I have to finish my workouts before I start seeing the clients.
Got it. So you wake up, you train, at 4, then you go start seeing clients, and then afterward you train again.
Yes.
What
Yeah,
what?
I start like 11 to 2. That's when I train with the guys. And
Mhm.
then at 3 o'clock, it's my clients till 5.
So you have a very long day. Do you do anything for special for recovery or anything like that?
Yeah, I do. I do the ice. I do the ice 3 days a week.
The ice baths? Is that what you're talking about?
I do the cryo
Hmm.
and
Yeah, yeah.
I do the massages twice a week.
Okay, so you take care of your body, on top
Yes.
of that. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
would imagine with such a heavy schedule, you probably
Oh,
need to.
going to Olympia for 12 weeks, I was getting the massages 3 days a week.
Mhm. Do you do, is it deep tissue or other
Yes, it's a sports massage.
sports?
Yes.
Got it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. One time, I remember the first time I went to get deep tissue massage, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, it's because it's nothing like a normal massage. It's because they dig into the muscle.
Like a normal massage. I get used to that. I call it rough massage
Yeah.
because they go so deep and like, but I feel like you get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Eventually your body gets used to all that. Yeah.
And if they do a little bit easy, I'm like, I don't feel it. And
Hmm.
I train, get massage from Tammy Marquez. She's a kinetic. She's sports massage therapist for
Hmm.
27 years.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
And she's like, I'm like, I don't feel it. She's like, you crazy. She's like, I feel I'm in pain just like doing this to you.
That's funny. So there's a gentleman I'm friends with. He owns I think it's a torture room. He used to, I don't know if he still does it out of Flex Lewis's gym or not, but he used to have a spot there and do it there. And one thing that he does that I've seen, I haven't had it done on me yet, but they use like some kind of equipment. It's like these blades. They're kind of metal pieces. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what she does as well.
Okay. That looks rough. That looks
It
intense.
looks rough, but it makes it feel so good on your
Mhm.
muscles. It feel like the stretch and it feels good. First time, I'm like, I can't. I'm afraid of those things. And she's like, let me do it. And she started doing it, and I'm like, I love it.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean,
Well, hey, I'm gonna have to try that then. Yeah.
I bought it once. She told me to buy. I do lots of ups and side baths
Hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
And she's like, when you're in a bath, you just take it and start, it's like scraping it.
Uh-huh. And you
And
try.
yes, I have it next to my bed. Next to my bath like every day. I take a bath every night, and
Yeah.
I use it.
That's awesome. I have to get back into that. I had like I used to get massages regularly, and then I got busy. I'm sure like when nursing school
Life gets
starts,
so busy, yeah.
yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's super busy, and so like I end up focusing on school, and then other things fall to the side.
Now school.
Yeah, but I need to make sure that I include like the recovery things at least, because that helps, with the body and long term.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you train people. Do you do lifestyle or do you do competitors?
I do preps and lifestyle.
Yeah. What do you
Yes.
enjoy the most?
I love lifestyle
Hmm. Why?
because be like because they never had anything like that. They no confidence,
Mm-hmm.
nothing in there. And then like I love watching them. They start noticing the differences in the body, and
Hmm.
they start noticing a different respect from other
Hmm.
people noticing them, and they're like my confidence, my husband or wife, they look at me different.
Yeah.
They noticing me. So for the bodybuilding, like we are already there, right?
Right.
Nobody's going to say wow anymore. But
Hmm.
those people lifestyle, they're like, I love seeing them. They're like full of life. They want more and more.
Yeah, that's so exciting to see. You're right. Like when you're dealing with people that are already athletes, it's small changes. It's not that much of a difference. But like when you bring somebody who's overweight or unhealthy and then they change, it's those are big changes that everyone notices.
Yeah, I have one client. I'm sure you see him on my Instagram.
Hmm.
It's Richard Parker.
Hmm.
So he was like over 500 pounds.
Can you imagine living at over 500 pounds? That's, and I'm not a small, guy. I'm 260. I'm muscular, but I'm 260. And so, and even at 260, there's things, it's some aspects of life are more difficult than others. I can't imagine what it's like to be 500 pounds.
Yeah, he's like, I can't even put my socks on.
Yeah, that's
And
unreal.
he's like, please help me. And he's doing freaking amazing.
That's wonderful.
Amazing. You see that, you see he's in his eyes. He's like,
Hmm.
I lost another 2 pounds this week. But look at my abs. He always posted the pictures. And like, literally makes me, I wanted to cry.
Hmm.
I wanted to cry. And then I have another lady. She's 629. She was 629.
Hmm.
She's down to 324.
Wait, she was
That's
629. What do you mean 629? 620?
625 pounds,
Oh
629
my
pounds.
goodness. I
And
didn't even
she couldn't walk. She like a little ant. That's what she walked. And
it's a
I'm like, how you get there? How?
hmm.
And they literally, when you're talking to them, they really they don't know how. They
Yeah.
said they're depressed or they're going through divorce or
Hmm.
there's something happened, in their
Yeah.
life. And I'm like, how's that possible? I just want to know how.
Yeah, it's difficult for me to understand too. Like I understand how someone can gain 15, 20, 30 pounds, but it's hard for me to comprehend how someone can gain hundreds and hundreds of pounds. But it must be a very powerful affect like depression and other things because there's many people that are like that. So
It's so sad. And when
yeah.
I see my clients, I always brag about my clients. I'm like, this is freaking amazing. I'm
Yeah.
like, people literally makes me better sleep at night. That I know I help someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I help someone, and it's like I'm like, okay, you were in the depression pills. You're not taking them anymore.
Hmm.
You are doing the cholesterol medicine. You're not doing it.
Yeah.
Blood pressure pills. And I'm like, he's nothing on it.
Yeah.
That what makes me so feel good about myself. I'm like, it's nutrition, it's number one. It's
Yeah.
no medicine in the world gonna help you. It's nutrition, it's number one.
Sure, sure. And that, and I'm learning that, being in the medical field, it's medicine can be helpful in certain situations, but a lot like, sometimes people have genetic things wrong and medicine help. Like you have a heart problem, you can't do anything
Yes,
necessarily about that. But a lot of times it's just fighting symptoms. And if you can get rid of the problem, like if you're severely overweight, then you don't need the medication for the symptoms anymore. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that's I'm happy that you enjoy it so much. You need more people like that, that enjoy helping others. So for
Yes.
sure. Well, Nicolette, I'm really happy that we got to talk. I really appreciate it. I had a great time. If someone wanted to reach out to you for more coaching or podcasts or anything like that, what would be the best way for them to do that?
They can reach out to me on Instagram or my email. It's all information on my Instagram as
Okay.
well.
And I'll link everything at the bottom of this video. So it'll be easy for you to reach out to Nicolette, and then go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. And again, Nicolette, thank you so much for coming on. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having
Yeah.
me. I really
Of,
appreciate it as well.
of course. You take care. Have a good rest of the day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye.